friends, and welcome back into, I guess we're not in my studio, welcome back to the Quilt House. Wanted to share some updates here on a Saturday morning. I'm going to plan a whole day of working, but I wanted to show you some of the things that have gone on so far. So I think I showed you this in the last video, that the door is in. So this is the entrance to my Longarm space, and the door is in, and let's walk in and I'll kind of show you what's going on around here. All right, so all of the lighting is now in. You can see that in the ceiling. And so what's ready to, well, so here's the door where the door was put in. And it's been drywalled all around there because there was a garage door there before, and the new door that we put in was a little smaller, and so the rest of that's been drywalled, and that is ready for mud and paint, and then some casing around the door. I will need to then after that gets mudded, then we'll be painting all of these walls. I did just a little test coat on that wall right there. I'm just going to go white everything, just keep it clean and bright in here, kind of lighten everything up. So just did a small test on that right there. Then we'll need to got to clean the floor up. And then I've got to decide on flooring in here. Originally didn't think I was going to have to do that. Thought the carpet would be okay, but once we were back in here and working in it, and it really needs to get pulled up and something else done. So let's walk into the storage room. All right, this room is also going to get painted, so I have done a small sample, same paint that was in the other one. I just kind of wanted to see how it would go. For whatever reason, this wall, you're facing back into the Longarm space, this wall only had exposed insulation, so it had never been drywalled. And so when they were doing the other area, I asked them to come in and drywall that as well. So then that will get painted, and then paint all of these walls because they are this like Pepto-Bismol pink at this point. And so paint it again, get it all white. A lot of the shelving will get moved to the edges. I will be putting in my table in here for cutting battings and wide backs and that kind of thing. And then over on this side, it will all be hang up for all of the quilts to keep them nice and close by. All right, you gotta see the next area. All right, this is the sewing space, the big sewing room. So look how much brighter it is in here. Oh my goodness. So all of the lighting has been put in. It's all the pancake type lights, nice lighting. We did put a couple ceiling fans in. Originally, when we first bought the place, those are the only two lights that were in here were on those two spots. And so we pulled those out, put ceiling fans on. These are on a separate switch, so if guests don't want the ceiling fans on, they can turn them off. Actually, they're running very high right now. And we can turn those off. The lights on the ceiling fans can also be turned off, all separately from the pancake lights that are in the ceiling. So lots of options there. So this one is ready for a paint job, and I've got a couple touch-up spots on the walls. I did do, again, I'm going to go white in here, so I did just a small section just to see if that was going to look okay. And then I do plan on putting up design walls. I know I've had that question about that. That's the table that's going in my in my storage room. I will be putting up design walls, and I'll figure all that out later. There's one of the old lights that came down that needs to be gotten rid of. Grandkids have been in here playing with wheelbarrow. You know, not too many kids. We have a wagon here too, so when the grandkids are here, we'll put them in a wagon and we'll pull them around, because right now not everything is safe for them to be crawling around on, just because of all of the construction going on around here. So putting them in a wagon and pulling them around, you know, it's like, how many kids can ride a wagon in the house, right? All right, let's move on. I will show you the next area. Now this area is kind of dark, and let me flip you around so you can see this better. All right, I'm backing up here so you can kind of get a point of reference. So this is in the sewing room, and this walks into the next area. So if you remember from my previous videos, this was just a large room. And so we have nothing to do with it. They are putting in walls, and we are going to make this a bedroom. We did have to move the attic access a little bit. It was farther back, and in order to put the wall where I wanted the wall, they had to move the attic access a little bit. So moved that over and reoriented the stairs that go up into the attic space. And then this will be a solid wall right here. So this will end up being a hallway right into the sewing space. So then over here is where the door will be, and right there. That will be the door into the bedroom. So when you walk into the bedroom, then it's a nice open space. I think on camera it looks a little smaller, but nice big open space. Lots of area right there. So that'll be all beds. And then what we are doing, back out of that room, what we are doing is putting the entrance to the bathroom. We're switching it from being inside of the bedroom to outside here. It'll be hallway access into the bathroom. So that will be going right there. The door for that will be going right there. They did move this armoire out into the center, out to this wall. I love that. Love that. So lots of cleanup. I told them the other day, I think we're making more messes than we're making progress, but it's definitely progress. So, all right, let's move into the next area. And this, now we are in the living room area. If you remember before, this had wallpaper on it. On the top part, and the bottom part was all like a mustard yellow color. So we have stripped all the wallpaper. I've gotten painting done. You can see I've cut in that, and I need to now go over the walls on that one. But here's kind of what it looks like. That's looking back into the sewing space, going that direction. But I painted all the paneling on the bottom. I like that. It's like a tan color. Get a little better view of it there, tan color, and then the walls have turned out really nice. You never know when you're pulling off wallpaper, but they've cleaned up really nice. I've got some more cutting in to do here. That's my job today, is to finish this room off. I need to do a second coat on the top, finish cutting in all the way around, and get all of this painted again, and then I will be able to start moving some furniture around in here. That piano that you see through the doorway, that's actually coming into here. And let me show you that room. Okay, so I've just walked from the living room area into this room, and I think might remember this room. This one has the big stained glass window in it. There was, the piano was in this section of the room. We've now moved that out because we are walling this off and going to make this a bedroom as well. So let me show you this area. So when you walk from the living room, the kitchen would be that direction. When you walk from the living room, originally the piano was right over here. This is just a door that's access to that electrical panel there. So everything has been cleared out of this room for the most part. There were columns that were right here. They came down right there. And we pulled those out. They weren't supporting anything. They were actually they're on the floor over here. They were just decorative. They were just pieces of wood propped up there to make paneling. I think not a paneling, to make columns, just to kind of separate that room off a little bit, or that section of the room, they had that set up kind of like a music area. So this is getting a wall put in there and a door. I don't know how well you can see. Let me come back around this direction. All right. I can back up far enough. So this will be getting, so he's put in a board, a footer board there, and then he'll be walling that in right there with a door. So this bedroom that you're seeing here in front of me will have a stained glass window in the bedroom and a door access there. So this other little part on this side of the room, this goes out to the patio area out in the courtyard is what we're calling it. The piano and the old record player will get moved to the living room. And I'm thinking this area, I'll put like a little table and with some seating. It's got a nice fan above it and light as well. Just some little seating here because it's a very nice look out into the courtyard area. So I think that's what my plan will be there. All right, let's move into another area. All right, in the kitchen, nothing's changed. I got lunch and dinner planned for the crew that's here today. And then let's walk into this room. So if you remember from originally, this had a couch in here, and I have moved a table that was in the back room. I'm going to make this a second dining room is kind of my thought right now. It may not be needed, just depending on the number of people that come, but this gives some more seating options. We had the dining room in the other part, in the other room, and that's still there. But I had this extra table and wanted some extra seating if it's needed for people to have plenty of room to sit down. Let me show you these cabinets over here. All right, so these are the built-in cabinets. I brought some quilting books from home, some nice hardback books I think that I'll fill that up with. I've been given several antique quilts, which is super nice. Actually, those are the backings. You're not even seeing the front parts, but I love that people are sharing things like that with me, and we're able to fill up these nooks and crannies with old quilts, and I've got other stuff just sitting there that I'll use to decorate later, and found a few pieces. Decorative pieces that I can use. Not sure if I'll leave that that piece there. I may move it over to this wall. I think this wall needs something more. Obviously I need to get some seating in here as well, some chairs around this table. But I'm trying to hold off on all the decorating and really get the construction part done first, and then coming in and doing all of that. All right, so let's walk into this is the entryway, goes out to the front. I've got a couple new rugs, not new to me, or they're new to me, but they're not new. I was given those rugs as well, hoping to be able to use those somewhere. There's another nice big rug, a woven rug in that. So I'm just kind of using this as some storage. This area is not having any construction done, so just kind of holding some things that we need, that we'll need soon to decorate with in this area. All right, let's move upstairs. All right, we are in the landing upstairs. You can see mattresses are all lined up here, ready to start. All the bed frames are downstairs, and we'll bring those up when we're ready. So this room in here, this is one room where we're not, I wasn't doing any construction, any deconstruction, I guess you want to say, or construction. The wallpaper's staying, the brick wall's staying. I will change out the draperies there. But I have added in some beds. Got 3 beds set up in here so far. Did throw a couple quilts on there just to see what it looks like. But the nice room. I mean, it's, I don't imagine that guests will be spending a whole lot of time in their room because they're here to quilt, here to sew. But each bed has a nice area around it. I'll be adding in some side tables and maybe a bench to put suitcases in. There is plenty of room underneath the bed as well. The way these bed frames are, there's plenty of room under the beds. You can see better on that one, to slide suitcases under there also. And here I have, behind the door, it's not here yet, but I have a, what is it called? Like a little dressing table with a mirror and a chair I'm going to put there. Plan on putting lots of mirrors in the bedroom so that guests can get ready in their bedrooms as well to do makeup or hair or things like that and not have to be in the bathroom part to do that. This room, I oriented the couch a little different way. I haven't done too much in here. Again, this is kind of just the decorating part. There wasn't any construction going on in this area. So like I said, I'm trying to hold off on the construction or hold off on the decorating and concentrate on the construction stuff that needs to be done. All right, the final bedroom upstairs has gotten a nice look to it. All right, if you remember, this room was black. And so now it has 2 coats of primer on it and it is ready for paint. So this really brightened up this room, made it feel a lot bigger. I love the big windows. One of my pet peeves is houses with small windows. I don't know if you're like that, but I do not like small windows in houses. Maybe it's because I've always lived in older houses that had big windows, and so I'll drive down the road and I'll see a house. I'm like, oh, windows are too small. They skimped on the windows. So I love old houses where they have nice big windows in it. And I will put some maybe like cafe type curtains in here so that you still get the light, still enjoy the scenery from outside, but then the bottom part would be blocked off. So this is ready for paint. And the bed will get set up in here, beds set up in here, and then we get to start decorating this one. So many fun things going on, a lot of work going on, a lot of construction. Things are starting to come together. Got some drywalling to do today, or some mudding of the drywall. It's my plan today. I'll be finishing up the living room. My husband will be finishing up the top bedroom up there. And others are working on the construction of that new bedroom in the back, and that's coming together and things are moving along. So I'm so excited, can't wait to share more with you, and thanks for joining in.